Hi everyone, and welcome back to university, and a special welcome to all our new staff who are joining us this year. I hope you all had a relaxing and restful Christmas and New Year break. I'm coming to you from the studios in Rockhampton. I love these studios. Of course, these are on Darumbal land, and you'll all be on different lands of traditional owners around the country. So let me acknowledge that and pay our respect to our First Nations elders, past, present, and emerging. I want to talk to you all today about the university budget, so stay tuned. But first, and further to the email I sent to you last week, I need to acknowledge the many people and communities being affected by wildfires in Australia. Across Australia, there are people in our CQ University community that have either been directly affected by these events, or they know someone who lives in these areas, or have been actively engaged in the fire response and all the support efforts. Of course, even once these fires are contained, the recovery of our communities and their natural environment in these areas is going to take a whole lot of time. CQ University is currently considering how best to support our communities affected by fire with various projects in the planning. So more on that soon, but know that there'll be plenty of opportunity for you to get involved as we roll out these projects and make these announcements over the next few weeks. Meanwhile, if there is anyone who needs extra assistance or counselling or support, please reach out to your supervisor, or of course you can access our support services, particularly through our employee assistance program services. Okay, let's talk about the budget. I've learnt in my first year at CQ University that the university is a veritable rumour mill, so I thought I'd just use this video to set the story straight. Our strategic plan sets out the roadmap to our future. We spent a lot of time, a lot of effort putting all of that together, and that plan has not changed. We designed a budget that would start delivering on the plan. Of course, the plan is 4 or 5 years, but start delivering on the plan in 2020. And that was approved by Council late last year, just a month or two ago. However, as we are entering 2020, our analysis indicates that our international student numbers and even perhaps some of our domestic student numbers may be below the expected figures that we would put into our budget. And that, of course, will impact our budget by upwards of about $30 million for the current year. So it's a big dent on our budget. Whilst this is significant, don't be thinking for a second that this is a financial crisis. It's not. Up to $30 million decrease in our budget is significant, but remember that we have a budget, an operating budget of about $450 million. So it's not a crisis by any means, but I still thought it was prudent that I inform you all of our current situation. A clearer picture of our financial situation will become evident once the budget review is completed at Forecast 1, which happens straight after the Term 1 census toward the end of March coming up. Okay, so what does all this mean? What does it all mean? It means that we'll need to think about the work that we're doing and what we can do to help reduce our expenses whilst continuing to improve our revenue position wherever we can. I want to assure you all that we are not focusing in some way to fix the budget by reducing staff numbers. No. In fact, what you might see is a delay in some of the new contracts as we try to apply some extra due diligence throughout semester 1. So there might be some delay, but we are definitely not trying to reduce our staff numbers at all. I've got a better way to deal with this budget challenge. At least until Forecast 1, when we'll better understand the impacts of reduced international student numbers and perhaps even domestic numbers to the overall budget, I've made the decision to delay the following capital works. Building 33 refurbishments in Rockhampton. For those people who know the campus in Rockhampton, that will be a disappointment. Melbourne campus expansion, although we'll still be doing a little bit of renovations in the Melbourne campus, we'll be delaying the planned campus expansions in Melbourne. And the Sydney campus renovations, they are big, big renovations, and I'll be delaying that until we know a little bit more. I'm really sorry, everyone. These weren't easy decisions to make, and I know that many of you will be disappointed, particularly those folk in those areas. And at this stage, my decision was that it's better to wait till we know exactly what we can afford, rather than commit ourselves to something that we can't afford and then suddenly find ourselves in a position where we have to take even more dramatic action that could really affect staff directly. So I'd ask everyone to be aware of the situation that we're in, and I've asked all my senior managers to review and reduce expenditure in any projects and operations where they can, and to monitor the budgets carefully. We'll also need to look at our travel plans and travel only where is essential or prudent to do so. Even though our budgets will be tighter, everyone, CQ University will continue to live our vision, educate our students, do our great research and advance our work, and particularly advance our work by making the strategic investments that we've foreshadowed in our plan, such as CQ Renew, the MBA leadership and all those other innovative learning and teaching programs coming through, accessing the Indonesian market and delivering the new human capital management system and various other new systems. It would be fair for you to all ask, how did this happen? Shouldn't we be better at predicting student numbers? And yes, frankly, we should be better. But it is notoriously hard. I don't know how many universities I've been at. This is my 6th or 7th, and I really do know it's difficult to predict student numbers. And indeed, right now, I speak to my colleagues at many Australian universities, and they're going through the very same process right now, particularly because of the recent changes within the international markets. Look, we may achieve the student load we initially predicted, but I'm just not confident based on the current lead indicators. There's the things like student applications, conversion rates, enrolments to date. So I had to act on the current evidence, and that's why we're acting now. So to summarise and to get over this video, what am I telling you? 1, this is not a crisis speech. I'm telling you what I know now because we all value openness. And anyway, you'll be wondering why your supervisors are currently sharpening their pencils and tightening their belts, and this is why. CQ University is in a sound financial position with some money in the bank. And indeed, we're investing some of that money in this year as part of our plans in our new systems, new curriculum, new IT infrastructure, all this year. That's all still proceeding. I'm making these budget decisions, particularly in the capital works, to stop an escalation of those deficits into the future. And because it would be easy to delay a decision, but I just don't think that's the responsible thing to do. And by doing that, we'd end up paying for it later. This process that I'm going through hasn't been created by the new strategic plan initiatives or CQ Renew or anything else like that. This is a response to a potential downturn in revenue this year. Indeed, while we need to continue those initiatives foreshadowed in the strategic plan because they're the very initiatives that will augment our income streams, will add to our income streams in the future and help reduce the chances of this happening in the future. Hopefully this is only a temporary delay in these capital works projects. We'll know more as the year progresses. I promise to get back to you all via a staff forum once I have the budget review, which is at Forecast 1, which takes place straight after the post-Term 1 census, which is toward the end of March. And if I know more before this, I'll get back to you sooner by emails or these videos or staff forums or any other way I can. Of course, I want you to know that we're not sitting on our hands. We're taking several immediate steps to help us realise the student load we had predicted. So I hope that I'll have better news the next time we chat. But I know most of you will understand that this is the most responsible thing I can do now based on the information I've got now. Hey folks, this is an interesting time in our life as a university as we engage in opportunities and frankly the challenges facing all of the Australian higher education sector this year. I'm extremely grateful for each of you for your contributions and your extraordinary dedication to our students and our research and our communities. And I continue to be really proud of being part of such a remarkable and talented university. Thanks for your time, everyone. Until next time.